Hey, what's going on? This is the WrestleMania Preview Show here on ClaibsOnline.com. Third annual WrestleMania Preview Show, as you see here, presented by the Inskip Law Firm and Glory Pro Wrestling. You see right up there in the top corner, Corey Inskip of both of those companies, and John Marecek. John, this is our third year doing the show here on Claibs Online. One of Claibs' favorite shows that he allows on his website.
Well, yeah, he's really looking forward to sitting on the beach tomorrow. In the next couple of days, he's actually going to listen to it a few times. He told me.
Yeah, I mentioned
get ready for his big party this weekend.
The first view will be his for sure.
Absolutely, always.
I mentioned I tried to get a little bit of WrestleMania talking on the lunch show yesterday, and I mentioned because
WrestleMania.
He tried to talk about how there was nothing else going on that could compete with Final Four games on Saturday, and I said, "Hold up now." I said, Stone Cold Steve Austin will be at WrestleMania. And he kind of brushed that off. And then 5 minutes later, he came back and he said, "Did you say Stone Cold?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
That's why that he's so big that Claibs even doubled back. Like, wait a second.
And then I mentioned Brock Lesnar's name, and he knew that name too. And then I mentioned Ronda Rousey, and he knew that name. See, so all the names that are on the marquee, he was well aware of.
Sure.
And
then you mentioned Rick Boogs, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Rick Boogs."
Yeah, that's so 2 nights of matches to get to. But before we get to that, there is a lot going on around the Dallas area. Corey, you are actually broadcasting from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as Glory Pro Wrestling has a show there on Thursday morning as part of the collective. Corey, talk about that. What you guys are doing down there with Glory Pro.
Sure thing. 11 a.m. start time. We're kicking off for the collective over at Fair Park, where the Cotton Bowl is, right next to Big Tex. Will be the first show on the roster. I think there's 3 more shows after us on Thursday, and then the rest of the weekend. I think probably 10 more shows after that. 4 or 5 different independent promotions putting on shows. WrestleMania weekend. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy that they have put together that many shows. 12 events, but if you want to, it's streaming live on Fight TV, FITE, Fight TV. So if you are not down in the Dallas area, you can watch all of that this week. Who you guys got? What are the big matches you guys have at on your card?
The undercard?
On your card. What are the
on our matches? Card? Your headlining match would be championship match, Mike Outlaw versus Bounty Keith, local guy.
Yeah, so. And you Grindhouse, John. Did you know Patrico is now managing a tag team in Glory Pro Wrestling?
He's not down here this weekend though.
He is slowly becoming a big deal.
He's the fans hate him. They absolutely hate him, and he keeps getting hit in the balls every show, and the fans love that. So, yeah.
Yeah, our last show he was involved with a match, and then the following match his DJ company was the sponsor of that match, and whenever they announced it, this is brought to you by Patrico Entertainment, the whole crowd just booed the announcement.
That is great. Golly. God, in a generation of no heels. Very impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy, do the people hate Joe?
People don't hate Joe. My favorite part of Joe's involvement is the interviews with the wrestlers, where you can tell Joe has to kind of shrink himself down a little because he's bigger than some of the people. That's my main problem with Joe as a backstage interviewer, is when he stands next to my big muscular wrestlers and he's 2 feet taller than them.
Yeah, it works when I'm back there with Jake something and
sure.
Or Karam those
Xavier
guys,
Walker,
Xavier Walker. It works when I'm back there with them, but then you put me back there with technical difficulties, the tag team that I just absolutely love, and it doesn't look good that I'm about 100 pounds heavier and about a foot taller than both of them. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if you got in the ring and took a few bumps so that they could see that you can't hang with any of these people, that would help.
Glory Pro has come into a lot of tables recently, and I have offered to go through one. So it's
well, he'd have to go through the state's rigorous licensing procedure. It's very difficult to do. It's not that difficult. Tony's licensed, Patrico's licensed, so I think you'd be all right.
Yeah, Joe, how bad do you want to go through this table?
I mean, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do whatever's best for the company. That's what kind of guy I am.
Company man, look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golly.
Yeah. Hey,
that's why he gets paid the big money.
That's right.
2 nights of WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday. As I look here, 14 total matches on the card for both nights. So the one thing that tells me, first off, is I don't think we're going to have to sit through a 5-hour WrestleMania like we did the last time it was just one night in New York a few years ago. So that's beneficial, especially come Sunday night when everyone just wants to go to bed. But the main event, the match that is going to go on last on Sunday, is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. It's the main event of WrestleMania 38. Third time that these guys have wrestled each other at WrestleMania, which I believe is the third time that's happened now in WrestleMania history. You had The Rock and Stone Cold had 3 WrestleMania matches, and then Undertaker and Triple H with 3 WrestleMania matches. I don't think I'm missing a third combo there for that. But this one's been built up for what seems like, I guess, since August, since Brock came back at SummerSlam last year, and we kind of knew then that this was going to be the main event of WrestleMania. John, what do you think about the way that this has kind of been built so far?
It's almost as though it didn't go well the first time. It didn't go great the second time. Let's try it again, and it's perfect. Like, everything about it is awesome. Roman's awesome. His whole presentation with the bloodline is awesome. And seeing Brock just be Brock Lesnar is the best Brock Lesnar that I didn't watch Brock when he first came in. I had checked out for a little while at that point when he first started. But this is my favorite Brock Lesnar that I've seen in like the last 5 years or so. This is every time he's out there, he's just fun.
Yeah, that, and I think, I've seen the comparisons to this is the Brock that was around during his UFC days. And I just watched the matches when he was in UFC. I just watched the fights in UFC. So I never watched any of the press conferences. I think I remember one where he won and then was sitting there with a beer afterwards, just drinking it, talking about a win that he had. Mm-hmm. But I don't recall ever seeing him just in this happy-go-lucky cowboy mode that we've seen the past few months.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's always been said about Brock is, he's one of those guys that he's great, but he needs somebody to speak for him. And I think now you've seen if you let him just have a personality, he's fine on his own.
What's great too is that it's not polished, and that's what I love. Nobody's going to tell him what to do and what to say. And when he was out there just totally freestyling on Monday night, I started getting nervous. Like, what is he going? Somebody in the back's got to be terrified that he's going to say something stupid that he's not supposed to say. But yeah, I love that it sounds real, and it's so refreshing in a WWE product, and everything sounds like they might as well just have cue cards in front of them and read off the teleprompter. To hear him just go out there and fumble and stumble and say stuff that doesn't make sense all the time necessarily, it works. It's different and it's real and it fits him. And
just wearing a tremendous amount of denim.
Denim and plaid are very big in the Lesnar house, apparently. Could you imagine the creative people, the marketing people trying to figure out what kind of merch can we make out of this crap that everybody's going to want?
Yeah.
So that match is for certain. We'll circle back to that match at the end here, but that match, 100% for sure, that is going on last on Sunday. Yes. That is going to be the main event. Whoever wins that match is going to be holding the belt up when the fireworks go off at AT&T Stadium on Sunday. That is going to be what ends the night. The big question, I think, right now is what is going to end Saturday night. And I think after the Royal Rumble, which all three of us were at, I think after you saw that Ronda Rousey won the women's Rumble, I think you kind of looked at that and go, oh, okay, it's Rousey versus Flair, because the big thing is, what names can you put on that marquee? What is going to sell WrestleMania? And Lesnar versus Reigns, that's selling WrestleMania for one of those matches. If you put the names Rousey and Flair up there when it comes to wrestling or any kind of fighting, those names are going to sell. And I think I would imagine that after that night at the Dome here in St. Louis, that was the plan to main event night 1 of WrestleMania, Rousey versus Flair. I don't know if that's what we're going to get this Saturday, ending WrestleMania on Saturday night.
Look at you. You're changing.
It's
you're almost tilting to me, aren't you?
I think I am, just because you said it. I mean, if you are there, if you are going to WrestleMania on Saturday to see Stone Cold, if you bought your ticket to see Stone Cold, even if you're just a regular wrestling fan, if Stone Cold goes out there and does anything, crushes some beers, pours them on him, walks out, the glass hits, all that stuff, are you going to give a shit about anything that happens the rest of that night?
Nope. I feel bad for anybody who would go on after them. And that's kind of my thing. I think Saturday night's going to outsell Sunday, ticket-wise, just because of him. He's going to bring more eyeballs. Everybody on that card, and it sounds disrespectful, but I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who's on that card, because he's just on a different level, and he will bring people to that show in attendance and eyeballs at home that haven't watched wrestling for 20 years. Just because he's there, and there's a possibility that he may have a match. There's a possibility that it's going to be a physical confrontation. I think it's definitely going to be a physical confrontation. They wouldn't be selling it the way that they are. But if he goes out there and they have a fight or they have a match, and then it ends with him delivering a stunner and then pouring beer all over Kevin Owens and spending 5 minutes going turnbuckle to turnbuckle and celebrating with the crowd, and then you're going to go try and have the rest of a show after that? Like, I don't know how you get your crowd back, and I don't know how many people either leave or turn off the TV when he's done. Like, he's the one guy on the card that can hold the audience the whole show. I don't think anybody else on the show holds a large portion of the audience for the whole 3 or 4 hours, however long this is going to be.
Yeah, I agree. It's the most interesting way to end the show, and probably the proper way from that standpoint. From them on their business end and the way they traditionally do things, do I think they'll do that? I don't, because they've got, your championship matches, your matches with the belts are the ones that you end the shows with. Now, do I agree with that? No. Do I think that's probably what they're going to do? Yeah. Do I think it's going to be, not, I don't want to say boring, but a letdown from, having Stone Cold involved? I think it is. But I think just with the way, have they ever ended a show like this without it being a championship match?
Well, they've never had two, but it's 2 nights.
Rock Cena in New York, the first time it was at MetLife, that wasn't for a title.
Yeah,
that was just the two of them, and then
Taker and Roman weren't. They were
Taker and Roman.
But those are still matches, though.
Yeah.
Now this isn't even being billed as a match; it's an interview with something that might happen. So,
right.
That's where my hang up would be as far as how they're going to book it.
And that's the thing with this, is we don't know exactly what this is leading to. Right now, it's the KO show. Still not sure if Stone Cold is going to wrestle, if physically he can wrestle, what that becomes. We could definitely, if that is earlier in the night, we could see something blow up to where Kevin Owens, or where Stone Cold challenges Kevin Owens to a match on night 2. And that way you are getting Stone Cold for both nights of the event. And then maybe you hold that earlier in the night. Maybe you hold that an hour into the Sunday night show, to where Stone Cold isn't main eventing either night, but you're getting him on both nights, and he is putting on a match in that second night.
Okay, so then I'll throw this at you. So if that is the case, when do you think, wouldn't you rather have that be the last, like, if that's the last thing that happens in the show, that it ends with Steve Austin and Kevin Owens are going to have a match tomorrow night, and that's how it ends when you walk out of the building and you don't have tickets for Sunday? What are you going to do? you're gonna buy tickets immediately, and that's gonna be the only thing that you're thinking about. I think and Corey, I would say too, I think this is how they should do it. But I don't think this is how they should do it at the same time. Like this makes the most sense business-wise to have Steve be last because he's the biggest box office guy on the card either night. And but at the same time, it is. I agree with you, and Joe knows this. I get pissed when when the world championships aren't last. I get pissed when the champion. I get pissed when the champion comes out first, and when the world championship is not the last match. But this is big enough that it's even swayed me. Although I'd be really pissed off if I were Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair if I get bumped for an interview segment, no matter who it's for.
Yeah,
I mean, both of them have to understand though who it's for though.
Well, and also too, like, how excited are you to see Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair with the way things have gone the last few weeks? Like, are you really fired up to see that?
I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not either. It's like it just hasn't been in her. There's been nothing that's happened that makes
Ronda's
you say,
not particularly charismatic enough for me to have been interested yet.
That's a good word, charismatic. Yeah. She's just kind of there.
There's two of them are still going to put on a good match. Like, and that's I would think so. I
hope so.
Ronda Rousey isn't going to go out there. I mean, the first match that she ever had in WWE, that the mixed tag match, was at WrestleMania, and I think she lived up to all expectations for that. And every match that she's had, they've put her in the ring with women that can work just as well with her, and Charlotte can work with anybody. So I think, and if Ronda Rousey wins and is holding that belt up at the end of the night, that gets the attention on ESPN. ESPN. I think ESPN is showing Ronda Rousey holding the belt more than Stone Cold in the ring drinking beer.
Okay, so then is Ronda Rousey going to be around long enough to continue and consistently enough to carry that over?
I think she's booked for the European part.
I don't know.
I think she's booked for a few shows on the European tour.
Okay. But no, is it any bigger for Ronda Rousey to win it in match 1, match 4 than it is to win it at the end? Like, that headline happens no matter what, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're just putting her at the end because it's the championship match. So the question is that the more important of the two women's championship matches? Just by name value, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But I think the other matchup is the better matchup. I think very highly of Bianca Belair, and Becky's. She's a very, very, very capable performer. I don't think. I'm not particularly interested in that match either for whatever reason, but I prefer that matchup.
The match itself's going to be better.
Yeah,
it should be. It should be better. I guess that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
Well, no, John, you hate
weird. Though.
Yeah, I was going to say you hate weird. You hate the Becky buildup.
Yeah, because you can't hate Becky. How are you supposed to hate Becky Lynch?
Yeah,
she was the most over person in the whole company by far when she left to have the baby. And came back, and nobody wants to boo her. Mm-hmm. And she's not very good at trying to get people to hate her. And she's such a nice person and does all these nice things outside the ring. She's like impossible to hate. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't it doesn't seem natural for her to go and do that. So the whole thing just feels weird.
Exactly.
Yeah. So and that's where I think the other big, we're talking about who's going to end the nights each night. Also, over the years, I think it started to become a bigger and bigger deal about who's opening the night. I think that opening match has really started to set the stage for the rest of WrestleMania, and I think it's an honor to be the one that pulls back the curtain for that opening match. Now, if you're not in the main event, you're getting the lead to do that. And I think Becky versus Bianca Belair goes on first. I think that is your opening match on Saturday. I think that's and when you look at the card too for Saturday, outside of having the New Day come out and maybe having an appearance by Big E in a neck brace, or I don't know how mobile he is at the moment, but outside of that, I don't think there's another match on the card that justifies being the top match for the night, or the opening. I should say a match to open the show, right?
Yeah. I mean, you've seen him do it once or twice when it's a celebrity involved, where they might come on pretty early in the card. But I don't think that would be the case with the Rey Mysterio match. But
no, yeah, I think that gets a little more build up later in the night.
Yeah.
That's a good filler match too. That's a good, because
bring the crowd back after Happy Corbin.
There are just some. There really are some clunkers on night one. I know that you, I know John, you're real excited to see Stone Cold on Saturday, but when you look at the rest of the matches outside of the 2 women's matches and the Stone Cold appearance, there is not a whole lot on that card for Saturday to really look forward to outside of Seth Rollins. Before we get to that though, who opens on Sunday? You look at that Sunday card, who's opening for that?
You could honest to God, you could add one of the two. Actually, you know what? No, I would do the triple threat tag match.
Yeah, the tag match.
Yeah, because that thing's gonna fly all over the place, and then you throw the Knoxville Zayn after it because it's a whole bunch of gimmick crap that's gonna happen.
Yep,
those 2 back to back will work, and then you can flow the show from there.
Yeah, you get the crowd between the Street Profits opening up night 2. That'd be pretty nice to do that. By the way, they're letting, Becky and Seth are on night 1, so they get to leave and go wherever. But I guess Montez Ford and Bianca Belair haven't gotten to that level yet where they get to be booked on the same night.
Seth and Becky are over there campaigning. Can we go first and second?
Right. They're pissed off that they have to stick around and wait till Monday for the for the show. So the Seth Rollins match is the one that has had the, I guess, most interesting build up leading up to WrestleMania, because the rumors of, okay, has Cody signed? Has Cody not signed? Is Cody going to show up on Raw? What night is he going to show up on Raw? Following flight plans that Cody was supposed to fly into Cincinnati the other night, which is only a 4-hour drive away from Pittsburgh. And was he going to get in the car and drive to the show and be there for the last one before WrestleMania? And now
because Cody can't get a flight to Pittsburgh.
No, that way just
so
to hide him. They wanted to hide him. They didn't want him flying directly into the Pittsburgh airport to where dirt sheets would see him. They wanted him to fly into Cincinnati and then drive so they could hide. Old school booking, Corey. Sure. Come on. Like they did back in the territory days.
My guys walk in off the street and wave at the fans.
The surprises.
Yeah, you can see where their cars are.
I have seen Glory Pro shows before where they had a surprise entrance in a match who was outside smoking before the show. All fans were walking in.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah. Don't mind him. He's fine.
Yeah, he's just here to see his friends. That's all it is.
Moral support. You won't see him later.
I don't think Cody or Shane McMahon are going to do that, which has to be. I don't think there is another name that you can throw out there with Seth on night 1 for who his mystery opponent is. Corey, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Shane McMahon? Is it going to be Cody Rhodes?
I'll go Cody. I think Cody Rhodes will do it.
I think so too. Yeah. I think all of this has.
But there is news that Marco Stunt got released today. So
no, that's not until May. He's not.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. May. Yeah, I take that back.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you won't. Yeah, you'll.
You can't announce he's not getting released till May.
Yeah, they're just not renewing his contract when it comes up in May. So yeah, Corey, if you want to book him for the pageant show, I think you still can, but you still might have to call Christopher Daniels to ask permission.
Have to check on his licensing and see if that'll work out for him.
Yeah. Well, doesn't he own a company in Missouri?
He works with Cape a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say he should be just fine in the state.
Yep.
Have Brody King throw him around a bit in the pageant show.
No. Not with Brody. You got to get somebody more substantial.
He might get thrown all the way to Blueberry Hill from the pageant. So, okay, I know, John, you are not on board with Cody debuting at WrestleMania, though.
Well, what if it's Taker? Is he in shape?
Stop. He's retired.
I'm just asking, why wouldn't
he's on the retirement tour? He's doing interviews as himself now.
Exactly. And and if he showed up, would anyone care that he did all that stuff? And if he went out there for 6 minutes and got the 50,000 fan send off that he deserves, it'd be worth every second of it, right? And poor Joe is like getting his little hopes up that Christmas is tomorrow,
I have
and zero. He wakes up tomorrow, there's no presents.
I have zero expectations of seeing The Undertaker on Saturday or Sunday outside of him just showing up and being like, getting on one knee, doing his little thing with the urn as they announce that he's a Hall of Famer. Maybe they do it both nights. Maybe they honor him both nights for that. I don't know.
He should get his own show and not be the close to SmackDown. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what they do from now on. Every time they want a legend to just come back and punch somebody, then they say, "Oh, he's going to make an appearance on the KO show," and they don't tell you what all's involved until you have to predict over and over again.
Right. Yeah. That, and I guess now the Miz is any celebrity match you need, just put him with the Miz and have him work.
They just start calling him out 2 months in advance, and then you have not a match, just a whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you main event it.
Yeah, perfect. We've just booked 2 years out.
But John, you think it's Shane though, right?
I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it's one or the other. I don't know. I wouldn't even try to get. I don't have no feeling as to who this person is going to be. My thing with Cody is, when Cody left WWE as Stardust, and there is a significant amount of WWE fans that don't even know AEW exists. There are a lot of them. They didn't know NXT existed. So NXT people come up there, they have no idea who those people were. And my concern is if you just bring him out and try to present him as a top guy and your fan base sees him as, oh, look, Stardust is here. Or the guy who was a mid-carder to the open of the show guy is back. And they don't know what Cody is, which is a top guy, which is a guy who became a megastar in the business in the last 5 years and changed it in a lot of ways. I almost feel like he needs to be built up so that everybody knows who he is and how big a deal he is now. And I just don't know that you're going to get that reaction. I texted Joe today. If Shane McMahon comes out, he's going to get a bigger reaction than Cody Rhodes is going to get from that fan base, because everybody in that building knows what a big deal Shane McMahon is. A large portion of that building will know who Cody is, but not everybody's going to know what Cody Rhodes has become the last 5 years. I just think I don't know that it seems. I think it's risky. That's all. I don't think you're going to get what they think they're going to get, or what many people think could happen.
They've done similar things though. Like whenever they brought AJ Styles in, he wouldn't have been terribly familiar with the majority of the WWE fans, and then he comes over from New Japan, and it was a good pop whenever he was introduced. So there's precedent for it.
Yeah, that was the only one that popped into my head that was like, okay, it worked for AJ.
Yeah.
But AJ had never been there before, and they didn't know him as something else. It's only because he left as one thing and he's coming back as another, and they don't know that other yet.
Well, luckily they can trade on the name. It's Cody Rhodes. With WWE, they'll call him Cody Rhodes as opposed to just Cody. So,
are they? Has there been any kind of chatter, any rumors of somebody like a Bray Wyatt coming back? I haven't seen anything. That could be one. Bray has been a lifer in this business, so if anybody can keep a secret to something like that, you think of all the other secrets that Bray has kept about his character and things that he has hidden from fans in the past. A return on a stage like this would be something that a guy who grew up in the wrestling business with a mind like his could easily pull off too, right?
Yeah, and I guess it would give you something to do, rework Alexa Bliss again back with them. If they're going that angle.
That's right. She wrestled at the Saudi show at the Elimination Chamber, and it was a big deal that she was coming back, and then
and that was it.
And then they completely forgot about her.
Yeah.
Does the fact that Seth has been saying WrestleMania moment and match mean anything? Not match mean anything? that he said it like 8 times or something like that 2 weeks ago. The whole thing at the end of the show was, I want my WrestleMania moment, not match.
Then if you remember too, in the office with Vince said, I'm going to give you your own main event.
Yeah, which was odd.
I'm going to give you your main event. So
you going to work NXT?
Like there's 2 main events this weekend. There's one on Saturday and there's one on Sunday. Like you can't just go around giving. I mean, AJ Styles versus Edge isn't a main event. That's just a match on the card. Like that's you're not you. So that was interesting wording to me too, especially when you know that Vince is so particular about what words he uses.
You don't go out there accidentally dropping main event out of his mouth and Seth just rolling moment out like it's nothing. You don't get to do that a dozen times and get away with it.
So
I have no idea.
There was a thought after the way that the Royal Rumble match ended between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and everything. I thought there was a chance that they would add Seth to the main event between Roman and Brock at WrestleMania. I wonder if there is any chance of that happening. If there is any chance that, okay, here's your match on Saturday. If you win, you get the main event on Sunday type deal. I don't think that sells anything. I don't think that brings in any viewers, but it would be a swerve.
It's not needed. It gets in the way. A third guy gets in the way. I'm glad that all the 3 major championship matches are one-on-ones. That's how they should always be that at this event. We don't need 3. 3's just, let's shoehorn somebody else in there just because.
Now that the way that you have kind of explained your thought for Cody on Monday Night Raw, because I've been to a Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and after being at WrestleMania the night before, like I know how different a crowd is of 70,000 people in a place for WrestleMania, and then you go to 20,000, just in a small arena, and how crazy those fans are. Like, those are the dead serious fans. The people that are at Raw on Monday night are the people that were at WrestleMania on Sunday and Saturday and Stand and Deliver on Saturday, and they were there for the whole weekend of events.
They're going to the collective stuff. They're going to everything. They know who everybody is and everything. They will explode for anybody from another company that shows up in that building on Monday night.
There's no IC title match, is there?
There is no IC title and no US title matches.
Yeah.
So IC title, that's Ricochet right now.
Oh, that's right.
And the US title is Finn Balor. So no Finn Balor, no Ricochet.
Yeah.
I guess there's still Friday to get them on the card. I do wonder.
I guess that's what happens when you have two products with so many belts. So at some point, your titles just don't make it onto your big show.
I wonder if Big E was supposed to have one of those. Because Big E was going to have a match at WrestleMania. That's one I wonder about, if he was maybe supposed to face a guy like Ricochet. And I am surprised that we're not getting Damian Priest against Finn Balor at WrestleMania for the rematch. I am surprised by that. I do wonder if Bobby Lashley versus Omos was also has been the plan for the past month too.
Maybe they'll do a pre-show match because they don't really care about the titles. And they'll do a pre-show.
So sad. The Intercontinental Championship has become the European Championship.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you would put against for the I don't even know who you'd put for Ricochet right now.
Seth Rollins for the title.
There you go.
I mean,
and then everyone will go,
Tomorrow is this is airing on Thursday. So tomorrow, Friday, is the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown. That'll be one of the few matches we're going to see on SmackDown on Friday. Do you just give the winner of that? Do you give him the trophy and tell him he gets the pick between Ricochet and Finn Balor?
No,
and the 24/7. Just pick one of them.
God.
Just 3-way, win them all at once, combine it into one belt that you could do something with.
One of the most prestigious championships in the whole world. You just threw it in a bucket with the 24-hour.
Yeah, just put them all in there.
How do we get Jerry Jones to leave night one of WrestleMania with the 24/7 title? John, how do we make that happen? How do we get that?
Happen. Only if that means that somebody can come in and pummel him to get it back.
He wins it, and then after that, Dak Prescott wins it from him. And
Randy Orton RKO's him on behalf of the entire city of St. Louis.
Yeah.
So you do mention that. So some of the other matches that you have without the Intercontinental title, without the U.S. title, it does seem like it is very heavy on celebrities this year with the
it's heavy on bring people to sell tickets.
Yeah.
So night one, you have Logan Paul with The Miz taking on the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic. I like that. I mean, it's fine. It's a way to get you needed to put Rey Mysterio on the card somewhere since he's the face of your video game this year. I think about that. Might be the only reason you put him in this match, and it just makes sense. You put him and his son in there, and people are going to tune in to see Logan Paul. Maybe people pay to watch the boxing fights him and his brother put on, and I don't know which one's which, but I know that people pay to watch him, so people are going to pay to watch him in the ring. And people commenting, Claibs would have known who Rey Mysterio was if I would have mentioned that name. He would have known that name. I don't think he would have known The Miz, but he would have known Rey Mysterio. So I think that you're putting him in there with a name that is universally known by people going, oh, yeah, I watched wrestling 25 years ago. Yeah, Rey Mysterio was wrestling then. That guy's still doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you're looking for in a match like that. I don't care to see it. I'm not, on the edge of my seat to watch that happen, but it's, that match isn't for viewers like you, like the three of us.
Nope. Yeah. It'll be fine. Perfectly fine. And then once it's over, you'll be ready for the next match.
Which will probably be the main event. Yeah. And then on night two, you have the Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn match, which I'm looking forward to that match because Johnny Knoxville will do something really stupid. And we saw him at the Royal Rumble, and we've seen him on SmackDowns actually take pretty stiff shots. And the guy's not afraid to get punched or take a move in a match. And I think that's what we're going to see on Sunday with him.
I think anything that he does in a wrestling match, even a anything goes match, he's done 10 times that somewhere on his Jackass show. There's nothing that Sami Zayn could do to him that's worse than some of the stuff he's already done to himself. That's why it's going to be fun. Sami Zayn gets to go out there and beat the shit out of him for 15 minutes. Just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Sami will be able to carry that match to make it look like something.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
Not only that, I mean, Sammy's going to get to have fun because since they made this an anything goes match, that at some point the rest of the Jackass crew is going to show up, and they're all going to take shots at Sami.
As long as they don't do, bad electric shock sound effects, I'm okay with it.
One thing to watch in that. So John, I know I brought it up to you. I think Corey, we talked about it. So at the Royal Rumble, when Johnny Knoxville came out for the Royal Rumble, the whole time that every other entrant for the Royal Rumble, they would have their logo up there or their name on the screen, or it would say Royal Rumble something on the screens all throughout the dome. When Johnny Knoxville came out at the Royal Rumble, all those screens all just had the WWE logo on it. Yeah. Every one of them just had the WWE logo on it, because when TMZ or when Entertainment Tonight or any other outlet picked it up, pictures or videos, you had that WWE branding everywhere. And I'm going to guess that you're going to get something like that again, where it's going to be that branding everywhere for a guy like Johnny Knoxville, because that's going to get talked about in mainstream media by people who don't give a shit about wrestling. They love Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen the new movie yet?
Yeah, I watched it.
Any good?
It's exactly what you think it is.
Okay.
Except the guys are now older.
Right. They're all the same.
Yeah.
It's just different stuff.
Yeah, it's the same show 20 years later.
Okay.
Which will be just as entertaining as it was 20 years ago.
I didn't know if they could take all those hits again.
Oh, they did. Oh, they did.
They have to. They don't have a choice. It's either you do it or you don't have a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I am going to also categorize the Pat McAfee Austin Theory match as a celebrity match, because at first off, I think when the Royal Rumble happened, I don't think this match was at all planned. I don't think Pat McAfee was supposed to have a wrestling match at the Royal Rumble. I think that match was supposed to be Shane versus Austin Theory. That was supposed to be your WrestleMania match. And then whatever happened with Shane, which, by the way, we're not going to call it. He didn't get fired. Okay, he's a McMahon. He might have pissed his dad off more than he ever has before, and his dad said, "Go home. Go home. We'll talk later." And now they're talking again. But yeah, he wasn't future endeavored by his dad. He was never going to show up on AEW.
Yeah, his percentage in the family trust did not get decreased.
So I do think that Pat McAfee has been a great voice for the WWE. At the Super Bowl at Radio Row this year, Pat McAfee had the biggest setup of anybody there. I'm talking bigger than Florio at Pro Football Talk. There was no ESPN desk over there. There was no NFL Network set up there on Radio Row. They were all off site. So they're on Radio Row. When you walked in, you go, damn, what's that big stage over there? Oh, that's Pat McAfee. And that's, I mean, yeah. And he's a star. He is. I mean, he's the only guy that talked to Aaron Rodgers all NFL season. The guy has just put himself in a spotlight that I don't think anybody ever saw coming when he was a punter in the NFL, and now he gets a WrestleMania match against a young up and coming talent where I don't think the results of the match matters one way or the other, but he's still going to do something really crazy. I mean, Pat McAfee will do crazy shit in the ring the same way Shane McMahon does. So that maybe he's your next generation Shane McMahon.
It is a weird match, though. Like, it's just like, we got to get a thing for Austin Theory, but we don't want to put him with anybody of these other guys. We don't want to put a belt on him yet, so we can't put him with those guys and beat him. Let's just grab the announcer.
Yeah. So Roderick, does that mean at the next Super Bowl show, you're going to try to have the biggest setup there, because that immediately translates into you getting a spot in a wrestling show?
You know what? I need to work on my 2-camera setup first. That was the struggle here this year. So I think we have it down. I think I actually figured out how to do the 2-camera setup now. So next year in Phoenix, like, I'm set. Like, I'm gonna be great next year for that.
Get yourself a nice setup for a Cardinals preseason preview show, and then maybe I'll get you in the ring with us first just to try you out.
Wow!
You're like, I couldn't resist him. He had such a good setup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can bring this nice big banner that I have behind me, courtesy of a Fast Signs Bridgeton.
Yeah, you can get the other one. There's two. You have multicolor because you have a 2-camera shoot. Get Claibs's, and you got.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, this is gonna be great.
I can't say no to that.
So if I'm doing all that, I have to drive from St. Louis to Phoenix then to carry all this stuff.
Well, if you want it bad enough,
it's right. Hey, it's called paying your dues. How are you going to get to the big time without paying?
Making pounds, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, you get a booking, you get in the car. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already complaining. I'm taking it back. Jeez.
He hasn't even walked the aisle, and he's complaining.
Ruined
like he's
it.
a veteran. Jesus.
So the only other main event caliber, I guess, top tier level match that we haven't mentioned yet is that Edge versus AJ Styles match, which is a dream match, is a first time ever match, but it feels like it's kind of been lost in the shuffle of all of the other matches that have been promoted this WrestleMania season. It's going to happen. It's probably going to be one hell of a match. Might be the best match that we see on the card all weekend. But it just feels like I don't know. I haven't bought into this dark heel Edge yet.
You haven't had enough time. It's been it's had to happen so fast. This is another one you look at. It's like, we don't have anything for these two guys, so put them together. And they're going to have they're going to have an amazing match. I can't wait to watch them it doesn't need a story for wrestling fans. They could just announce tomorrow Edge and AJ Styles, and I wouldn't miss a second of it. And wrestling fans would be like that. The story part is just for everybody else. You don't need the story. What story do you need to watch these two have a match?
Yeah, that's my thought is what do you do with them afterwards? Because I don't know, but it seems like this match, instead of just having it, I mean, it makes for a great WrestleMania card. But the complaint is it's making the card too good and full. Whereas you could have taken it out and had it headline one of the lesser pay-per-view events. It could have been the headliner, but I mean, it just makes the card that much better that it's an afterthought.
So I mean, does the winner of that match, does it matter to you at all who goes over on that one?
Yeah, you just wonder what you do with Edge after that. Is he now, some sort of heel bad guy? Is he wrestling anymore? Is what happens?
I think that's a question for a lot of the card as we kind of get into predictions now of what's going to happen, because we know Sunday's going to end with two belts becoming one. They're unifying the heavyweight championship with the Universal Championship, and we're going to have one belt on one wrestler, which does take away quite a bit from where other storylines can go and who else can challenge for that, whether it's Seth or however they decide to build up Cody if he does return this weekend, or the winner of the Edge AJ match. I don't know where you go with just having one belt now. So I guess to start off, we'll start with the women first. Who do you have? Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. Who do you have in that match? Corey, I'll start with you.
Jeez. I think you probably keep it's Becky Lynch. I like Bianca on that one, but I think Becky, and then you keep trying to make more storyline out of her and keep it going. Bianca can keep. I would leave it on Becky.
I want it to come off of Becky because I don't want her to be. I want her to become sympathetic Becky again.
Yeah,
and you could do it here. This is a perfect spot to do it.
So does that then you switch Bianca?
Yeah, you have to. Well, you got to find somebody's got to flip her. Like you can't. You can't keep trying to force when no one wants it. It's like we don't want to make money. We're just going to keep her.
Well, the question is, it's a prediction of what will happen, not what you want to have happen.
Oh, what will happen? Becky will win.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they could drag it out. If you want to reverse the two of them, if you want to turn both of them, I think a cocky Bianca Belair with that EST gimmick can go over just fine, saying that she's better than everybody, that she's the best, and you put Becky right back to being good and letting the people love her. That's fine. So you do some sort of post-match beat down by Bianca Belair after she loses and gets frustrated.
And Becky was selling a tremendous amount of merch as a face.
Yeah. Monster. There's just so much money. It was like they just pissed it away when she came back first. I don't know why. It still doesn't make any sense. But look at on Monday. Didn't it look like they flipped Monday? Bianca was the heel on Monday. Losing her crap, cutting hair like a maniac, trying not to kill anyone with scissors that are flying around while there's 3 other people trying to restrain someone.
The state of Missouri wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah, that is a good start. I mean, cutting somebody's hair for no reason like that's a good start for a heel turn. So that other one, I guess I've already given mine for Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. I've already gone with Ronda Rousey in that one. Who do you guys think goes over?
Ronda.
I think it's most likely Ronda. I'd like to see it stay on Charlotte so that Ronda could keep pursuing it. I think that you could make a storyline out of that for a while. Like Charlotte somehow retains through nefarious Flair means. I think they'll do Rousey though.
I
think for what you said too, Joe, that it's an important thing for her whenever it does happen. It's a big deal publicity wise to have her stand there holding their belt.
It's hard to kind of make a prediction on the Seth Rollins match just with
and also with Flair though, if she loses, then that gives her a chance to win again, and then keeps getting the number of championship wins up again.
Right, like that matters.
Yeah.
It also
because then you say she's the however many number time champion like her dad.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it also does give her dad a chance to tweet about how disrespectful they are to his family by having her lose a match at WrestleMania. So it's, you do that, and
Yeah.
I think that'll be fun too to see him.
I don't follow him, but I think I might this weekend because it
Well,
could be all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
Somebody should take his phone this weekend.
So I'll talk to you about that off the air. We then on Sunday, the only match worth really going over with this is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has held the title for over 500 days. Brock Lesnar, I don't know what his current contract situation is. I don't know how long they're expecting him to stick around. And it also has been a while since Brock Lesnar was not in a title picture. So if he does lose, where does he go from there? Who do you guys have in this match? Who ends Sunday night with the title?
What's the next pay-per-view after this?
It is WrestleMania Backlash.
This is rematch pay-per-view.
Yeah. So
they're not going to do Brock versus.
Not at
There's
that.
no way they're doing Brock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Backlash in Providence, Rhode Island. Brock's not going to Rhode Island.
Not for
you don't know. It could be some sort of a cage stipulation. The Usos get involved, cost him the match. Then it's Brock picks a couple of guys to go with him, and it's a three-way match. Who knows? But no, I'm going with Brock on this one.
Yeah, when it was announced, when it became clear that that's what this was that it was, even before Brock came back, kind of looked like it was going to be Brock and Roman. I would have said Roman. But now, this Brock, this doesn't look like coming in to knock out a couple of months and then I'm getting out of here, Brock. This looks like a different person who's able to go out and have fun and just be himself. And he looks like a guy who's not leaving. Like that he's enjoying doing this. And I think, I'm with Corey. I think Brock wins.
Well, and he recently said that he's completely closed the door on any more MMA, right? And he hadn't said that up to this point.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is it. This is what he does now. And hangs out in Saskatchewan or whatever.
I'm going Roman Reigns. I'm going Roman in this. I fully think that Roman wins. I think Roman keeps that belt for another year. And I think he main events next year's WrestleMania in Los Angeles against The Rock.
Okay.
I think we get I think The Rock shows up either Sunday or Monday.
Well, then it would be a championship match then.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have The Rock win.
Sure you
could.
You're
really going to have – no, I'm with
How many more appearances can he make to defend then?
You don't – no, I'm just saying he shows up. I'm saying The Rock shows up and he confronts Roman, and you find a way to build that for a whole, because we've seen it before. We have seen
you could do that if he didn't have the belt.
We have seen Roman be able to be involved in multiple storylines at once. We've seen him do that during this run that he's been on, to where he can go and he can defend that title. He can have a rematch against Seth. He can defend it against Cody. He can defend it against other people all year long, and then come next year at WrestleMania in LA, you get Roman, you get The Rock, and then after The Rock wins, maybe you go back to 2 belts.
No, get rid of the stupid 2 belt. I gotta hate the 2 belts. The 1 belt is exactly how it should be.
Here's the most important question. If it's a unification situation, you're going to have 1 belt. What's the 1 belt going to look like?
I don't know.
What are they going to do?
The unified title.
I think
it's going to be the same belt, but a different color.
The black leather. I think you just
cut it in half, and one side's red.
Oh God! Don't put that.
And it fits together.
Have you not heard? The saying of you don't say things out loud in front of Vince because
Brock
then it
wins.
comes true. You just don't put those things out there in the universe.
Brock wins. It's unified and it's sponsored by Jack Links on the back.
In denim.
Yeah, it's all denim.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm
just
going
to be like a normal, like a belt you'd wear.
It'll be an actual belt that holds his pants up.
we will see what comes out of this after Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's Raw, all in Dallas, Texas. And I'll figure out a way to talk about it here on Claibs Online, probably next week on Weekend Joe.
I look forward to Claibs' reactions.
I'll tell him about it. I don't know what you see. Next week's tricky because I mean, Claibs is going to be all in on wanting to talk Cardinals opening day. So
opening day is not till June 14th.
I gotta figure out a way to weave all of those in. So
yeah, just ask him. Say what's your predicted opening day lineup, and then say, oh well, why wouldn't you bat Brock Lesnar there? And then just get in there.
Corey, tell us again, the collective. It starts Thursday morning, and it's available on Fight TV. Do you know how much that costs on Fight TV? Have they told you?
I don't, but I believe it's one price for everything, if I'm not mistaken.
$139.99. You can buy all 12 pay-per-views. Wow, I know Moxley's fighting in one of those shows. Janela, Suzuki.
That's a solid 4 days worth of wrestling shows.
Yeah, Cardona is out there too. So I think I see Jimmy Wayne.
Going to see Suzuki a couple of times.
Yeah, the Briscoes.
Is he at every show?
Pretty much.
You couldn't get him to wake up early enough for the 11.
Keep your eye out. You'll be seeing him soon enough.
Hey, Joe, you bitch about having to get in the car. He'll get in the car and go wherever, any 50 states, wherever he is, he'll be in that. Whatever you need him tomorrow, he'll be there.
You have some money for him. He's there.
I just talked about driving, from St. Louis to Phoenix. This isn't a weekend road trip with 3 wrestling stops on it. Okay, I'd do that. That's fine. You want to put me through a table 3 different nights in a row? Sure, show me the money.
He's the guy who hasn't taken a table bump.
How hard could it be?
and you just said, show me the money. Guess what? You aren't going to be happy with how much money you get shown.
Thank you to Corey Inskip. Thank you to John Marecek. This has been the 3rd annual WrestleMania preview here on ClaibsOnline.com. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody.
St. Louis Acura is the only Acura dealer in the nation to win the Precision Team Award for 30 years. How do we do it? By making you, our customers, our #1 priority. As others increase their fees and take advantage of limited inventory, we keep our prices low because we remain committed to becoming better than ever and treating you as we want to be treated. We want you coming back and sending your friends and family to a veteran-owned, family-based business you can trust. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.